You're tuned in to Rebooting Liberty.
Have you ever wanted to have your own radio show? Rebooting Liberty Radio Network currently has openings for live programs. For a very small fee, we will create a show intro, bumper music, and provide technical production for your hour-long show. Email producer@rebootingliberty.com for details. You can find us at live.rebootingliberty.com.
Welcome to Commonsense Coalition Talk Radio, where you'll find straight talk from people with good old common sense.
I trust your opinion.
And now, for your host, she's putting sense back into nonsense.
Absolute insanity.
Well, you can hear me on the radio. You want to turn me on, turn on your stereo. You can sing along like I'm playing our song. Now you done me wrong, baby, crank it up.
And now, your host, Beth Ann.
And I welcome you today to CSC Talk Radio. It is my honor, my privilege, and my pleasure to be here with you today. It's a good thing, you know. It's really a good thing that I'm a night owl, because I have been spending a lot of late nights early in the morning trying to catch the news, and these debates, they kind of consume me. So I was watching the debate, and I want to know who watched the debate last night and what you thought of how it went. I have some things written down that I thought. I usually start out taking notes, and I end up throwing that to the side because I can't keep up. And last night I was watching the Twitter feed and watching all the things that were being said by the candidates or by Fox Business or other people that were watching that were rooting for whichever candidate they were supporting. But before we get started, I want to say Happy Veterans Day and a big thank you and God's blessings on all the men and women who have served this nation and continue, who are serving this nation today, the active military. There's probably not a one of us in this nation that doesn't have a vet in the family, or know of a vet close by, a neighbor, a friend, someone, or maybe you are the vet. I think we did this last year, but I want to do it again this year. I want you to give me a call and thank your favorite vet. Who is your hero? Now, this is the first year that I have been able to get it done. But on Facebook, I actually posted a picture of my father, who is a World War II vet, and my brother, who is a Vietnam vet, and then my son, who is also a vet. And he happened, praise the Lord, served during peacetime, so to speak, if we've had any peacetime here in the United States. So I have three in the family right there, bing, bing, bing. But as I have been in the arena here on the radio and in the public a lot more, I meet vets every single day. When I go to rallies, even on Facebook, somebody there, and they're still fighting for this nation. They're still worried, they're still concerned, and they still are ready to take up arms if need be. Our vets. Thank you. And God bless you and your families. I don't want to forget the families that sacrifice so much. The spouses that are left behind when the hero goes to war or has to travel. And the families that she's raising maybe or he's raising by themselves for a time. Sacrifices. For you and for me. So I want to take a moment to thank our vets. Now back to the debate. they had a little talk about some of that last night. And, you know, I'm a little different than the rest of the media. Is that a big surprise? The line that caught my attention last night, it's not anything really out there. It's a true statement. I thought that it was worded rather cleverly, but it really wasn't anything that was magnified in the debate, other than it caught my attention. And I noticed when I'm reading all the other information of all these other analysis, all these people that analyze the debates, which I don't know that I really analyze them, but I heard Carly Fiorina said this, and I wrote it down right away. She says, and I think it's maybe because she put it this direction, and you know, I like to cook. And you know, I had been working on, and I had to put it on the burner for a while, had to put it on the side, let it lie for a little bit until things turn around and I get some more recipes in. But you know, I had this great idea, and I still think it's a great idea, for a recipe book that are your recipes, America's recipes. And we'll get back on that one of these days. But I have no help in the office, and it had to be put to the side. But the secret sauce of America is innovation and entrepreneurship. It is why we need to cut government down to size. I think it was because she said the secret sauce. You know, it's really not a secret, and it really is quite simple how to turn things around in this nation. It won't be done simply. But back to the basics is what we need to do. Now, as far as winners and losers, I guess that depends on what you're listening for, or who you're listening for, or who you're rooting for. It wasn't, I thought the debate was well put together. There were no gotcha questions, no pitting the candidates against one another. They can do that on their own when they're answering questions and such. But this particular Fox Business is where I got this, and it's by Chris Salissa. And I'm just going to read what he said about the debate. The Fox Business moderators went out of their way to make clear that they, unlike the unmentioned but ever-present CNBC moderators, would be sticking to substantive economic issues in this debate. Then they went out of their way to praise themselves for doing so, which was fine, he said. But, now this is his opinion, not mine, but the debate was largely lifeless throughout, and the lack of candidate exchanges, whether because of the rules of the debate or simple unwillingness to engage, meant that many of the answers offered were straight from oft-repeated talking points. He says, I don't think that serves the voters' interest at all. Well, I disagree with him, because there was some heated moments where they went at each other. My favorite was when Rand Paul went after Rubio. That was my favorite in your face. How can you call it conservative when you want to put more debt? And they were talking about funding the military. And I think Rand Paul gets completely misunderstood. He's not a total isolationist. He does lean that direction. And I believe, you know, President George Washington, our founding father, warned us about getting involved in too many things. And that's where we are right now. I felt like Ted Cruz was the winner. Ben Carson and Trump, they didn't do anything to hurt themselves. Well, they claimed Trump did, but I don't think he did. He picked on Carly Fiorina once. It was justified. He maybe shouldn't have. I don't know. Somebody, she was interrupting. She was constantly interrupting, and I found it kind of interesting when I watched the town hall last night. After, they grab a group of people that were watching the debate, and they start asking them questions. Well, they were upset with Kasich, because Kasich was continually interrupting and trying to put into the debate. Well, Carly was doing that too, and at that point, she kept interrupting one particular person, and it wasn't Trump she was interrupting, but it was somebody that was debating or going back and forth with something Trump had said. And he said, how come she just keeps interrupting? And, of course, he got booed for that. But they were upset with Kasich, but it was okay with Carly. We're going into a break. Your calls are welcome at 877-895-5410, and we will be right back.
Are you a David? There are wolves, sheep, and sheepdog, and then there are shepherds. Just as young King David faced the impossible battle with the feared giant Goliath, we face giants today as well. Do we run, or do we stand our ground? Our federal government is the epitome of corruption. Abuse of power and deceit have enslaved we the people. Property rights are non-existent. Gun owners are treated as terrorists. Citizens are plundered and reaped of rights and liberties. Is there a solution? Yes, you are the solution. You, the patriotic, the local peace officer, you, the elected official, the county sheriff. You must stand with faith, humility, and the strength of a warrior, as young David did. You are the solution. Order the book, Are You a David by Sheriff Mack. Go to csctalkradio.com or send $15 to P.O. Box 73, California, Missouri 65018. Be a shepherd in your community. csctalkradio.com.
Gold and silver have been the foundation of wealth for individuals and nations the world over. The history of man is packed with coins, jewelry, and artifacts that have spoken to the intrinsic value esteemed in gold and silver due to their rarity, durability, and usefulness. I'm proud to call Melody Cedarstrom a friend and honor Discount Gold and Silver Trading is a loyal sponsor of CSC Talk Radio, a Christian company founded on the principles of truth and honesty. Melody provides quality products, quality service, and competitive pricing. Let Melody's over 20 years of experience in gold and silver trading be your investment guide. From precious metals purchases to precious metals IRA. Whether you want to buy or sell, Melody and her team at Discount Gold and Silver will assist you and make sure you get the best deals possible. Call Melody and tell her thank you for sponsoring CSC Talk Radio, and then let her know you want her to be your gold and silver dealer. Visit Melody online at dgscoins.com or just give her a call at 1-800-375-4188. That's 1-800-375-4188. You stroll out to the barn to check on those calves, kids, or lambs, and at first glance, you know something is not right. A weak kid, a calf who cannot nurse, or a ewe who does not have enough colostrum for her newborn lambs. Your role switches from caretaker to rescuer. In these situations, minutes count. Having the right products on hand is vitally important. Visit the animal care category at HambyDairySupply.com to stock up on your medical needs. At Hamby Dairy Supply, they understand because their family has been raising livestock since 1954. With their years of experience, they can help you with your needs, including planning for those livestock emergencies. Visit HambyDairySupply.com for colostrum, Energy Plus energy supplements, Formula 911, and Arrest Drench products. Stock up today and be prepared. HAMBY DairySupply.com or give them a call at 1-800-306-8937. And we have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. Like I said, I was watching the debates last night. I watched them late into the night, and I watched all the commentators later that were analyzing and had something to say, and then they would interview the candidates as well. Well, when I'm doing that, I'm usually on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter, and I'm shouting out or doing something, and one of our buddies, and he has been a guest on the show, he's one of those angry vets that's trying to be a good patriot and continue to fight for this nation, is Ray Martini, and he is with me today. I was chatting with him on Facebook last night and said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow morning? You want to join me for coffee and some common sense on CSC Talk Radio? And here he is. Ray, welcome.
Good morning, Beth Ann. How are you today?
I'm doing good. You were a little bit late, buddy.
I was a little bit late. I had a few errands to do, but I finally made it.
That's all right. That's all right. We were just talking about the debate, and I told him what I told you last night, what my favorite line was, and I think it was just because she used the word secret sauce. It wasn't anything that was magnified during the debate or anything, but I do believe what her statement was true, that we are a great nation of entrepreneurs, and if you give us a problem, we're going to solve it, except when it comes to the economy, and that's because we leave that to the candidates, or to the politicians in D.C., and they're not going to accomplish anything. But if you'd give it out here to one of these farmers or ranchers or an engineer like yourself, it'll get solved.
Well, I think that's how the country was built, Beth. I'm a senior citizen. I wasn't quite around when it all started, but I think the people and capitalism and entrepreneurship built the country, not the politicians.
You know, one of my least favorite lines, and it angers me when they say it from the left side, and I've heard Elizabeth Warren say it. I don't recall if Hillary has said it or not, but she thinks it a lot. And President Barack Obama, you didn't build that by yourself.
Exactly.
And he's wrong. They are all wrong.
That's right. We built what we built in spite of the politicians, not because of them.
I think that's pretty good, in spite of them. Well, did you have a favorite moment in the debate last night? I read something from a person that was writing, and it was posted on the Fox Business site. At least that's where I think I found it. Sometimes I get to traveling through the World Wide Web, and I get kind of tangled up. But anyway, he thought it was boring, that nobody really got pitted to one another, and while they may have covered a lot of good information, he thought it was lack of interest for the people. I disagreed with that, because I was able to for the most part, they still have their political hoorah that they like to repeat over and over and over again. He's correct about that. But I liked it when Rand Paul got in the face of Rubio. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah, and Rand Paul, and I agree there may not have been any home runs hit, so to speak, but we've come to want a better TV, better optics than we do substance. And so if you don't get this head-to-head cage fighting kind of thing, we think it's boring. Well, what they're talking about is the actual issues, and that may not be very exciting, but it's the reason they're supposed to be there.
Well, I thought that particular instance and other things that I've read seem to agree with that, but I thought that particular in your face, it was separating and making it obvious what a true conservative is next to the ones who are just calling themselves conservative. I'm concerned about Rubio. I know a lot of people said he won that debate last night. I didn't feel that way. I thought he did well. I think a lot of his lines are memorized and written down. He's just saying what he thinks everybody wants to hear, and he does a good job of it. I'm not going to say he doesn't. I thought Ted Cruz did a great job last night, but I thought when they went head to head with Rand Paul and that, I thought it was a good example of what a true conservative is versus just somebody who says they're conservative.
I like Rand Paul's line when he talked about he wants government so small you hardly realize it's there, and that the private sector takes the ball and runs with it and not try to be led by big government.
And that's exactly how we were set up to be governed.
That's right.
And, there's two of them that will mention the Constitution. And there's three of them, but there's two of them that will mention it more often than not. And that is Ted Cruz and Rand Paul. They will mention the Constitution more often than the others. I hear Ben Carson mention it from time to time, and I hear, you hear Trump say it once in a while. But those two are the ones that I hear that actually go to the Constitution when they're trying to make a point. And
particularly Ted Cruz. I think that's his real love of his life is the Constitution and adherence to it. As opposed to this guy we got in the White House now.
Well, he seems to hate it. And so do the others that are on the left that keep screaming for what they want is a different kind of government. And that is socialism.
Yeah, that's right. It's called socialism. They call it democratic socialism, which is a fancy name for European socialism. It's all this.
Well, they're trying to make it
thing.
sound like it's American, and it's not.
Exactly.
So,
did you watch the undercard debate, by the way?
No, I did not get to watch that.
Okay, that was pretty interesting, too.
Was it? Who do you think? Now, they said Christie won that. I did hear that.
He was good. Jindal was good. I was impressed with him.
See, I do. I really like Bobby Jindal.
Yep. Now, there's a guy that...
he mentions the Constitution and God a lot.
That's right. And he's the son of an immigrant, came over from this country and believes in individual responsibility and accountability and not being a ward of the state and all these entitlement programs that we've built up over the last couple of generations.
I do like him, and I think in the big debate last night, whether you can pick a winner or not, I think we can pick a loser pretty quick. And there was two of them, and Kasich would be the number one loser in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he was forcing he had to force his way in because he's doing so bad in the polls, and Jeb was doing the same thing. I just think that they aren't what America wants right now. We're done with the establishment.
Well, Kasich has some good resume and some good background, but I agree. I think he felt a little slighted in the previous debates. And he wanted to make himself known, and I understand that. But he came on, I think he overdid it. He came on too strong, and he got a little obnoxious.
I saw somebody on Twitter. They were putting out their opinion of how he was coming across, and they had a picture of Kermit the Frog where he's throwing this little fit, and his little arms are going back and forth, jumping up and down. And that was kind of the way Kasich kind of looked last night. Yeah. He was, I want to talk, and he was kind of rude with his constant interrupting.
Yeah.
And that was something I was talking about when I went into the break. I don't know if you got to hear that or not as we were going into the first break. No, I just got on
during the break.
Well, I watched a town hall that they were asking him about that, and they were really hard on him because they thought he was rude with his interrupting. But when Carly Fiorina interrupted and Trump said something to her, they thought Trump was the bad guy. And I thought, well, that's a double standard.
Well, but Kasich wouldn't give it up.
Well, she wasn't going to either.
Speaking of Trump, you may know I'm not a big Trump fan.
I know that. That's okay.
A little off his game yesterday, I thought. He was kind of sat back, and I don't know whether he's just trying to ride out the being ahead in the polls and not wanting to make a big mistake. But I thought he was very passive yesterday.
Well, I think he was, too. And, Ben was a little laid back, too. I think they... Now, the one thing that I had read about Trump, they said he acted like he didn't really want to be there. Well, he doesn't need to be there. I mean, obviously, he's ahead in the polls. He's not a debater. He's not good at it. He's not an orator like Ted Cruz is, right. Or even Rubio, or even Carly. He's just not.
The problem I have with Trump, that I think Trump has with Trump, is he runs a huge corporation. Okay, that's fine. Of course, he had a couple of $1 million start from his dad, which is kind of nice. But that aside, Trump's used to being the boss, and what he says goes, period. Well, when he's up on that stage, particularly the first couple of debates, he tried to come on with the same attitude, like he was going to tell people who belonged there, who didn't, who was right, who was wrong, and have them accept it just because... he's used to that.
But there's somebody else that's going to make that decision, and that's you and me and the ones listening to us. Now, exactly. I had also... Now, Ray, I want to thank you for your service. I gave a shout-out to our vets when I started out. I want to thank you very much for your service. And I have asked, and nobody has called yet. Call me, call Ray. Let us know who your favorite hero is today, and let's give... our vets a great big hug and a thank you. 877-895-5410 is the number to call. Did you watch the debate? Who do you think won? Who do you think lost? Who's your hero? 877-895-5410, and we will be right back.
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network, compelling and entertaining talk.
Don't touch that dial.
Return to listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. I have a good friend with us, Ray Martini. Ray, we've got some callers. We're going to go to the phones. We've got Lillian from Nebraska. Lillian, how are you today?
I'm, excuse me, I have kind of a cold, but anyway, I just wanted to take you up on thanking my favorite hero.
All right. And who is that?
You know, my daddy was in a World War II vet.
Who's mine?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Okay. And, of course, my granddaddy was a lifer in the Army, and all my uncles on both my parents' side.
You have a family of heroes.
I have a family of heroes. And a good friend who was lost in Vietnam. And my husband was in the Air Force. And right now my sister-in-law is over 30 years in the Army. She'll be retiring soon, or Lieutenant Colonel. And I'm very proud of all my wonderful heroes.
Well, thank you very much. You have quite a heritage there. I appreciate you sharing with us. And we'll pray for you cold. Hope you get to feeling better, Lillian.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have Tina. She's calling from Illinois. Tina, how are you today?
I am wonderful. I'm actually sitting in a home of a gentleman that I'm caring for who's in hospice, who just lost his wife, and he is a veteran from World War II. Spent a lot of time in Japan, and so I honor him, but I also want to honor my father who passed away in 2000, and I want to honor all those that are fighting now, because I have someone very near and dear to me. My fiancé is in Syria right now, in that war zone that's going on there, that they're not calling a war, but it is definitely in the eyes of the families, it's a war. When you're shot at and you have to sleep with your gun every day, it's definitely a war. And so I just pray that they all get to come home safely.
You know, there's a little thing, and Ray, you can chime in on this, when, you know, it's a special occupation when you have to put your blood type on the bottom of your boot.
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lillian. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, Tina. I'm sorry. Thank you, Tina. I appreciate it. And thank you for taking care of the gentleman you're with right now. I lost my mother to Alzheimer's in January, and we had hospice taking care of her for a long time, and they were wonderful people. Thank you so much, Tina. Ray, you know, it's our vets are special people. I know that you served. You were a Marine. You are a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. They don't give it up. And I thank you for your service. And, you know, I'm certain that it goes back in your family quite a ways, too, doesn't it?
Well, a couple of members of my family were in the military. I'm only the second generation to be born in this country, so we don't go back too deep. But to answer your question, the heroes to me, the real ones, are the ones who never came home.
You're right. And
that's from any war, any time in our history.
Yeah. And people like you who served, you know that all too well, because you stood right beside those that were lost.
Well, I was in during the Vietnam era back in the 60s, and that was not a very popular war, as you remember, at the end of it. And when the guys came home, they were not welcomed at all.
No.
And it's just kind of a shame, and I'm glad to see at least that part of it has turned around, where a lot of the returning vets at least get some recognition when they hit the States.
It was a low point. It was a low point in this nation when that took place, and it was bad. And you know, I think that was the left side that was doing that, and the right side stayed way too quiet. You know, that happened to my brother. He's a Marine, and he was in Nam, and I didn't know the story until my son was in the Army, and he was stationed at Fort Lewis in SeaTac in Seattle area, Washington. And we went up there to see him.
Yep.
And my brother made the comment he would never go to Seattle. When he came home, they wouldn't let him off the plane.
Isn't that something?
And I didn't know that until that story after I got back home. And I said, I didn't know that, brother. I knew a lot of people were treated badly. You never shared that with me, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just a shame. Those guys went over and fought and died and sacrificed as much as any other veterans in any other war. But society had changed, and they blamed the individual soldier instead of politics or whatever it is that really starts wars.
That's right. And, let's put it in today's perspective right now. The war that's not a war right now over in the Middle East, we've lost more men and women now than Vietnam, and we thought that would never happen.
That's right.
And you don't hear it now. When President Bush was president, and I'm not necessarily a Bush fan, so don't take this wrong, but every single day in the media they would tell you how many were lost.
Yep.
Well, it's continuing, but you don't hear it anymore since Barack Obama took the presidency.
You don't hear a lot of things from the left that we should. They love to just surgically cut out the part that they want us to hear, and anything that's bad, like ISIS attacks, even within our own borders, is labeled as workplace violence, or they blame the gun, or they do whatever it is, except to tell you the real truth.
Well, they don't want you to know a lot of things, but at the same time, the true journalists should neither be left nor right. They need to be about the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Let us make the decision of what is right, what is left, what is right, what is wrong, and let us make that discernment. And, and that's what I appreciated about the debate last night. The moderators did not join in the debate.
Right.
Now there was a couple of times when they said, let me get this straight. This is what you're saying. And that was because the candidate wasn't really answering the question directly. So there was a couple of times when they were trying to make things clear. But other than that, they did not join in the debate and debate with the candidates.
I agree. They did a much, much better job than CNBC did on the previous debate.
I thought they did a better job than Fox did.
Yep. That was rather contentious when Fox had. I was a little surprised at that. When their question straight out of the gate is, are you going to be loyal to the party? Yeah.
I don't care.
I don't care for that at all. No.
Well, and I don't care. I don't want them to be loyal to the party. I want them to be loyal to me.
Exactly.
The American people. And I think that's what I think regardless of who we like or don't like, I believe that is the reason that these 3 and 4 that are leading in the race right now are doing so well in the race. Carly's not necessarily leading, but she's still up with the big boys. It's because they're non-established GOP. They're running on the Republican ticket, but they're not established Republicans. And I'm talking about Trump and Carson and Carly Fiorina, and Trump. Ted Cruz keeps butting heads with them, so he's not really their man.
That's true. And, that's something I constantly debate with myself. I'm getting to like Ben Carson more and more, but still I tell myself, do you really want to hand over the presidency to someone who's never had elected office or run a city or a state or doesn't know about the inner workings of government? Yeah, it's nice to say we want an outsider because we want to throw all the other bums out. But is that a place for a rookie? So,
if the rookie has good has good common sense and knows who to put in place to help them, that's a different situation. Because you can be a leader. In fact, you can't be taught how to lead. You have to be a leader. Yeah. And I'm not sold on Ben Carson just yet. I like the man. I think he's honest. But I'm not sold on all of his policies, and I don't think he is, and that's what bothers me. I think he's still unsure about some things, and that's what bothers me yet with him. We're going into a break. Your calls are welcome. The question of today, did you watch the debate? What did you think? But the number one question of today is, who is your hero? 877-895-5410, and we will be right back.
A girl needs accessories. So does a website these days. It's not enough to have just one accessory either. CSC Talk Radio is excited to announce we have an app for that. You can now listen to CSC Talk Radio easily on your smartphones, Android or iPhone. We have an app for that. Share this app-portant news with your friends and family. They can now join in the common sense. Calling all patriots. We have an app for that. Visit csctalkradio.com and download the app. Listen to live streaming or the show's podcast, designed for Triple L. Listening later leisurely. Accessories are necessary. Join CSC Talk Radio on your phone. We've accessorized. Visit csctalkradio.com and download the app. Working with technology to bring America home. We have an app for that. csctalkradio.com. csctalkradio.com.
BioAg, working with nature naturally. Murray Bast has been my guest several times here on CSC Talk Radio. You know now he's devoted to helping farmers and ranchers. Murray is my common sense voice for improved agriculture. Farmers and ranchers are vital to any nation. Our food and how it's grown is more than just planting a seed, slopping the hogs, or feeding the cows. There's a science to it, and it takes a special kind of people. Since 1982, their mission has been to produce and supply products and services that warrant and support true sustainable agriculture. BioAg is a major supplier of natural products and services for livestock and crop production. Become a BioAg distributor. BioAg consultants and distributors are devoted. BioAg.com has all the products you need to improve your bottom line as well as improve your products and health. Visit bio-ag.com or call them at 1-800-363-5278. That's 1-800-363-5278.
Did you know that whether you're making a phone call, texting a friend, or checking email, you can be making a difference for CSC Talk Radio? That's right. When you sign up for wireless service from our friends at Affinity 4, not only do you receive affordable rate plans with nationwide coverage on one of America's largest wireless networks, you'll also be supporting CSC Talk Radio through Affinity 4's Give Back program. Affinity 4 Wireless offers a variety of phones from leading manufacturers, and you can choose from individual and shared plans to meet your needs. And you can keep your same phone number. Call 1-800-311-2021 today and let the Affinity 4 customer service team help you select the best plan and phone for your needs. And remember, when you sign up for any of Affinity 4's products and services, a portion of the proceeds will be donated back to CSC Talk Radio. Don't wait. Call today, 1-800-311-2021, and ask about their current wireless promotions, including a free month of service and free phone offers. That's 1-800-311-2021.
Going once, going twice, sold to the highest bidder. Has the U.S. been sold out by those we've trusted to guard, protect, and help this nation prosper? Selling U.S. out is a nonpartisan examination of the trade and economic policies that brought about the current economic crisis. It is receiving great reviews from Americans across the social and political spectrum. Beth is proud to call J.R. Martin a friend, and she's thrilled he's provided his book for you. CSC Talk Radio listeners, we speak about communism, socialism, but what about corporatism greed? What did free trade accomplish? NAFTA? GATT? CAFTA? Why is American productivity and our own industries failing? Why are we losing American businesses and American jobs? J.R. Martin has generously made his book available so that Beth can offer it to you at a discounted price. Nearly 400 pages packed with powerful information and years of research. We have to know the truth in order to turn this mess around. Send $15 to P.O. Box 73, California, Missouri, 65018. That's selling U.S. out. $15 to P.O. Box 73, California, Missouri, 65018.
And we have returned. You're listening to CSC Talk Radio. This is Beth Ann. It's Veterans Day, and we've given a shout-out to our vets. And we have one with us, a Marine from Vietnam, and that's Ray Martini, who's continuing to serve this nation by trying to stay on top of things. You know, so many people go into a hermit mode. They think they can't make a difference, and they want to hide. And I've been there. I've been there before. I was too busy raising kids to worry about politics, and now I'm kind of smacking myself around a little bit.
Well, that's true. We all get a little complacent from time to time, and it's easy to think, well, you know, we send people to Washington, D.C. to take care of all these things. Let them worry about it. But we see how well that's worked out.
Yeah, they, well, when you mentioned, do we want somebody that's not got experience, we've had people with experience, and that hasn't done us very well.
Well, I agree, and that's why I'm as I say, I'm still kind of arguing with myself. So I've taken it from the other direction. I've eliminated some of the people on the Republican side that I know I would not want to see as the candidate. And a long time ago, I eliminated the entire Democratic side, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, there's not anything there that I would vote for. What, and well, the one that actually once in a while stumbled on and said something that almost made sense in that first debate, the only debate they've had so far. I think he's the one that dropped out, and he was a vet.
Oh, yeah. What was his name? I forgot.
I forgot it, too. That's not good, is it?
But I know who you mean, and
yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing. This guy sounds more like a conservative than a Democrat.
Well, once in a while he did, but they still seem to fall into that big government got to take care of you mode on both sides of these parties, and that's what is your gut feeling about Rubio, Marco Rubio?
I think he's a very bright, very motivated young man. I think he needs some seasoning, and I would not support him as president on this go-around.
I think he needs to listen to Rand Paul and Ted Cruz a little more.
Well, that's the seasoning part.
I think my concern about him, and I might make some of my listeners mad, but this is just a gut feeling, nothing else. Other than a few things. I've seen how he's voted on a few things. My gut feeling, he's a rhino in training.
Could be. And,
that bothers me a little bit because he still seems to go after the big government deals. And so that bothers me a little bit. And I could be wrong. I'll be the first to admit, and I'll be glad to admit if I'm wrong that I'm wrong on that. Yeah. But I am watching him very closely because I am concerned about that. And now they're coming out and saying that he's the biggest threat to the Democrat Party, that they're worried about him. And that makes me wonder if they're not trying to set that one up.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about his Florida experience being a senator there. I like a lot of the things he says, but, and again, maybe this is a generational thing, but he looks like a 12-year-old kid to me, frankly.
Yeah, but you and I are starting to think everybody looks like a 12-year-old kid.
Well, that's true, too.
Well, I had somebody from Texas send me I don't remember his tweet or something on Facebook, said they actually are from Texas and that they really stood by Ted Cruz. They said he does what he says he's going to do. Do you see it that way?
I like Ted Cruz. Again, he presents himself as outside the system, but he's still part of the Washington machine. But I do like to listen to him, and I do like a lot of the things he says. Now,
there's a few people that's the only thing they have against him. I've got some friends that are watching this very careful, and they would be the most unlikely that you would think that would go for Trump. And the only reason they're doing that is because he's not connected. And, I think everybody's still trying to make up their minds. I think it's way too early right now.
There's a long way to go.
I wished I could see each one of these front runners, meaning Trump, Ben Carson, which I think would probably do poorly, both of them maybe, Ted Cruz, Rubio, and Carly Fiorina. I would like to see all of them go head-to-head with Hillary in a debate.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
And then let's make up our mind on a primary. Let's put that together, and then we'll make up our mind on a primary.
We got a long way to go. We know that. In the first, when is Iowa? January or February or something?
Yes, I think. I haven't got the dates down. I've got some Iowa listeners. They might call and let us know.
That'll be the first one. And then it'll be a long year with speeches and debates, and when we get down to the two candidates. And, of course, Hillary might be in jail by then. Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be. I don't see it happening. I see somebody else using their power to give her a wave.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, I agree.
The get out of jail free card.
You know, it's been so long now and nothing's happened. And I watched her last appearance in front of the Congressional Committee, and you would think with the evidence they had by then, between the Benghazi information and the emails and all that, that they'd have enough to really nail her. But frankly, she walked away really with very few marks on her.
You know, they are going after Ben Carson for stuff that is just craziness.
Isn't that something?
And, you know, somebody remembered. I have remembered for a long time, and nobody ever mentions it. Occasionally I bring it up. But do you remember Joe, good old Joe, you know, the vice president?
Oh, sure.
When he got in trouble over all the plagiarizing in college, nobody mentions that anymore.
Yeah, there you go.
But they're going to get on to Ben Carson because he might have remembered a few things wrong, or they can't find anybody that he tried to stab. And, of course, that person is laying quiet. They don't want their name out there in all this public arena, and I don't blame them one little bit. But they're going after him for everything. And I'm not promoting Ben Carson. I'm not. But I'm saying they're going after him for stupid stuff. Hillary, we caught her in lie after lie after lie, and they say it doesn't matter.
And she gets a pass, isn't that something?
She gets a pass from the media, the liberal side of the media, and I'm kind of done with giving people passes on both sides. You know, I'm done with them with their loyalty pledges to party, and I think it's about time they started signing some loyalty pledges to the people.
Yes. Beth, I know you're almost
I am, Mom.
Can I do a quick plug for the show?
Sure can. Sure, absolutely.
I would ask that my fellow veterans and their families send in a little contribution to CSC Radio. Putting a publication like that on, a show like that on every day costs a lot of money, and we need to keep people like you on the air.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to give the address. Thank you did that. I appreciate it. Post Office Box 73, California, Missouri 65018. Thank you, Ray, for your service and for your continued care over this nation. I appreciate it so much. Folks, it's going to take every single one of us. You know, you and I, our family. Take care of a vet today. Take a vet to lunch if you can. I'm going to call my son and take him to lunch. I really don't have time, but you know what? He took time for me. Let's bring America home.
You're listening to Rebooting Liberty Radio Network, compelling and entertaining talk.
Don't touch that dial.